Good evening. It's a challenge to be the last one, especially after such an inspiring few lectures, especially the last one. Thank you very much, Justice Uno. Secretary Ivan Louis, Secretary of the ICT. Thank you very much also for a very pleasant and friendly meeting we had earlier this morning, and I'm looking forward for our close collaboration in the coming years. Honorable Renato Bruno, Chairman of the CybersCool Defcon, the founders of the company, and all my friends, Tatum Amsi and Edison Abela, Mr. Roitzu in Israel, Brigadier General Rami Efrati, which I heard a lot about, and finally we get to it today. And dear guests, friends, participants at this evening coming from different sectors, public, government, private, defense, others, academia, friends from the media. It is really, I think, for me, a fascinating evening. It's not only inauguration, but so inspiring, and a lot of messages that it's something that makes me really think on many things. But we are coming to an end of this evening. Still everybody is here, so congratulations to you for the patience. But I really first of all want to really suggest to give really a big hand of applause and to congratulate CybersCool Defcon and to both of you for really taking this private initiative, but making it something that contributes really to the good, I think, of the Philippine people. So really, first of all, congratulations. And I have a written speech, but I have to start from much more personal, and I don't like just to read from the paper, but standing here, opening with the national anthem of the Philippines, and then a tikva, and from the left the Israeli flag, on the right the Philippine flag, and this is, for me, this is this evening, and this is what the embassy and what I'm here all about, is really bringing these two flags together, the two peoples together, in any possible way. So it is really such an exciting evening, what we're doing here, which is what I call building bridges between our two countries. In this case, bridges of technology, bridges of innovation, bridges of cybersecurity. And building those bridges, it's not only for selling technologies, and this is the beauty of what we're seeing today. It's not simply selling a technology. It is really sharing best practices, it is training, it is human capacity building. This is what we're talking about. And this is exactly, and Rami was talking about it, it's not just to come, copy, paste, and do it. It is taking the principles, sharing best practices between people, between nations, between friends, and then you have to adjust them to the local challenges, to find your own solutions for those challenges. And here we are, as Israel, Israeli private sector, Israeli government, we would like to share and to work with you into creating your own local solutions. I can tell you this morning, again, I'm moving out of my speech, my apologies. So, and I was touching so many of those, creating those bridges just in one day, and I would like to share it with you. Because Rami was also talking about the local call. And I'm trying to make sure that each one of you can get this local call, so creating those bridges. And I started with a meeting with Philippine Airlines, trying to push for the direct flights. After last week, we had the historical announcement in Israel that Saudi, part of the global strategic changes in the Middle East, and Israel 2 years ago signed peace accords, signed diplomatic relations with the United Arab Emirates, with Bahrain, with Morocco, historical change in the Middle East. And last week, Saudi Arabia has announced that it will allow Israeli airlines to fly above Saudi air. This is something historic. And this can also make a difference for us here because it makes a viable route, direct flights between Philippines and Israel, and this is something I'm trying to promote. This is a bridge for connecting people. And then I met Secretary Uy this morning talking about cybersecurity, DICT, innovation. And after that, I met the Secretary of Migrant Workers, Secretary Ople, and this is again the bridge of 30,000 Filipinos who are working in Israel, and the Israeli government is working closely with the Philippine government in order to make sure that they have good working place, their rights are protected, they get the pension, they get the medical insurance, and they are fully protected, all the rights. And this is actually, Israel is one of the more wanted destinations for Philippine workers, the OFWs. So again, this is a very important bridge. And then finally, a meeting with the Israeli Innovation Authority, where we had online DTI, DOST, NEDA, after signing an agreement to collaborate last June on the area of innovation. Now we're discussing on implementation and how we can fund together startups who are developing technologies, services, and solutions to work together, Israeli startups with Philippine startups, in order to develop a solution for the Philippine market. So this is my day, and today, ending this day here this evening, so really this is so exciting. And our two countries, really we share very close relations, which start even before the establishment of the State of Israel, already since 1938, where the Philippines have hosted 1,300 Jews, refugees, who were looking for a safe haven. And most countries closed the borders. The Philippines is the only country that opened the borders for the Jewish refugees. And for that reason, for the open door policy of President Quezon, Israel until today has adopted the open door policy for Filipinos who do not need a visa to visit Israel. This is what I call friendship between peoples and between countries. And obviously since then, today, the relations are very much deeper, including in so many areas, but today we're focusing on the digital and on the cyber. So with the support of the Israeli government, and for many reasons, and I will touch them, the Israeli government efforts, the military service, private sector, R&D, innovation, academia, and maybe part of it also connected to Jewish culture, Israel has become a global hub of innovation. Innovation that includes cybersecurity, but many, many areas. Israel is a global hub of innovation, and if I look just on the cybersecurity, so according to statistics, Israel actually attracted 40% of global investments, specifically in cyber, last year. And cybersecurity startups in Israel, basically, they received investments to the level of $29.5 billion from venture capitals invested in Israeli startups. And the export of cybersecurity services, more than $12 billion just last year. $11 billion just last year. And last year we had 11 Israeli unicorn companies in cyber. So it is really a hub. I won't mention the names, but it is a hub. It is a place where you can find so much innovation and a lot of solutions that have to be obviously adjusted to the needs. And I'm happy in this case that Israel is a partner for the Philippines and is promoting cybersecurity in the Philippines. And we heard about the importance, I won't go too deeper, the importance of this area specifically today. So launching this academe here, I think is something so timely, and I think also addresses the efforts and the messages we hear from the president. And I'm really proud that we're doing this here today. Working on not only the technologies, but really making sure that we have skilled operators and technicians and experts, and it's also about awareness. This is the way forward. The embassy will continue to support creating such, as I say, bridges of innovation between our two countries. This is my vision before coming to the Philippines, when I was preparing myself to come here. I had met many people, and the first day when I was at the embassy, and I presented my agenda, and my agenda is, as I said, it is creating bridges of innovation between Israel and the Philippines in technologies. So here we are inaugurating this bridge. Finally, it is important to know that the embassy, due to the close relations, 2 years ago has expanded. We opened 2 new offices here. Representative of the Israeli Ministry of Defense and a representative of the Israeli Ministry of Economy. And the main reason for opening these 2 offices in the embassy is in order to support the growing and deepening of relations and a considered direction. From one side, defense, we know the threats, we know the challenges in the country, and we're taking part from that aspect. And the second one, economy, business to business, facilitating any areas of interest and specific companies. And we have a representation here, and if there are here people who are interested to create those partnerships, to identify Israeli partners, we are here as an embassy, and myself, I'm totally committed as ambassador to help you to identify partners, to work with them in order to bring the right solutions and to work with you in developing them and making them relevant and address the challenges here in the Philippines. So this is another milestone this evening of this collaboration and partnership between Israel and the Philippines. And I want again to say, as we say in Israel, we say Mazal Tov, and congratulations to Tatu and Edison for leading this effort, and to your team here, and Shalom and Marami Salamat. Toda raba.